Hello there, Lunar Squadron, and welcome back to the channel. Unfortunately, today we have some bad news to deliver to you in regards to the upcoming Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Unfortunately, the game has been officially delayed by 6 weeks, and in this video, we are going to go over this message from Respawn and EA and what it means for the game going forward. But if you have been with us at any point in this channel, you should not be surprised that any game that we are covering has been delayed if you were with us for LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. So for both Andreas and I, this is not entirely surprising. It is just unfortunate. So we're going to talk about everything that you guys need to know going forward. But before we do that, if you're new to the channel, we would love to have you as always, and the way to do that, just hit that little subscribe button, the bell notification right on next to it. It will notify you every single time that Andreas and I upload the latest and greatest Star Wars and Jedi Survivor content. Now, without further ado, Andreas, are you ready to make another video about a Star Wars delay?
No, I'm not, but let's talk about it.
Alright, Andreas, so for the past few weeks, you and I have both been asking for new news for Jedi Survivor so that we could talk about it and break it down on the channel. This is not exactly what we were talking about. This is the ultimate monkey fist, monkey ball curl type analogy that we've seen in the past, and, well, we got the news. We asked for it, so why don't you go ahead and read through this and tell us everything we need to know about this post from EA Star Wars, Respawn, and EA.
Yeah, so I'm just going to tell you guys exactly what this post says first, and then we'll get into our reactions for it. A lot of you might have already read this post and you're going to YouTube to just see what other people's reactions are, so we'll get to that in a minute. But first, earlier, just a few minutes ago, we received this tweet from EA Star Wars saying that Star Wars Jedi Survivor now arrives April 28th. April 28th, that's the new date, guys. So just like Nick said earlier, it's a 6-week delay here. Stig and the Star Wars Jedi team are telling us that for the last 3 weeks, the Jedi team here at Respawn has poured its collective heart and soul into Star Wars Jedi Survivor, and we are proud to say the next chapter in the Tale of Cal Kestis is content complete. We are now focusing entirely on the final stage bug fixes to enhance performance, stability, polish, and most importantly, the player experience. I think this isn't much of a surprise. We would expect this game to be content complete at this point because it was set to release in just a short few months at this point. So I don't think this is, you know, a diagnostic overall good or bad. I think this is just what we would expect at this point, and it's I guess it's good to know that they're confirming that. The next paragraph says, Jedi Survivor is a direct response to the feedback from our community, delivering expansive destinations to explore, evolved combat and traversal, and of course the continuation of Cal and BD's story. Making this game has truly made us a better team, and we have pushed ourselves at every level to make this the Star Wars sequel our fans expect from Respawn and Lucasfilm Games. This is a classic studio saying that this project is a big project. It's very difficult, what we're putting together, and so that's why the delay is necessary. And then in the final stretch of this notice, they say, in order for the team to hit the Respawn quality bar, provide the team the time they need, and achieve the level of polish our fans deserve, we've added 6 crucial weeks to our release schedule. And they announced the release date of April 28th, and then thank EA and Respawn. Such is life. Nick, what's your take on this? What's your is this doomsday scenario? Are we going to hell in a handbasket here? Is this TT games all over again? Are you getting PTSTT here, Nick, or what? Like, is this just this studio's avoiding crunch? They're doing a solid for their employees, and we should expect a solid game here at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I have a couple different reactions and a couple different feelings about this overall delay. One, I'm nowhere near as frustrated about this. I'm honestly not really frustrated at all about this in terms of delay. I appreciate that they took the time to actually communicate with us and tell us that this game is going to be delayed. They tell us in the message, hey, the game is done. From a content standpoint, that's not to be concerned with. What we're worried about is we just want to spend these extra few weeks making sure that this game is polished when it releases in now April 28th. about a month and a half after the initial release date. And I appreciate the fact that they actually gave us a new release date. That is one thing TT never did. What was frustrating about LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga with TT is there was just no communication at any point. They would come out and then they would delay the game for a year, and then that would be the last thing you would ever hear about LEGO Star Wars for a year at a time. And that was what was so frustrating, was there was just such a severe lack of communication and information. But here, Respawn and EA are being very open and very forward about what exactly is going on with Jedi Survivor. And plus, this is also the first delay. Now, if this turns into a string of delays and we're sitting here in March of 2024 and we still haven't gotten this game, then that is a completely different story. The frustration level with LEGO Star Wars was that game was delayed multiple years and there were multiple delays, and it just got old, and the lack of communication and the frustration built up over time, and just that was where that anger was at with that game. There is no feeling I have towards Jedi Survivor. This is the first setback, if you even want to call it that. It's a 6-week setback. It really, in the grand scheme of things, is not that big of a deal. This reminds me a lot of Cyberpunk's delay. Now, there is some concern there. Cyberpunk originally was set to release in November, push its release date back 6 weeks because they wanted to do the same, work on bugs, make sure the game is polished, and everyone who, if you played Cyberpunk at launch, that game was still plagued with a ton of bugs and a ton of issues. But I don't think we're dealing with the same situation here with Jedi Survivor. I don't think this game is plagued with anything. I think they just want to make sure that they are releasing the best possible game that they can release, because that is exactly what they did with Fallen Order. Fallen Order was phenomenal, and I think they just want to make sure they have a game up to the exact same standards here with Jedi Survivor. So I'm not frustrated at all with the studio. Obviously, I'm frustrated that we're not going to be able to get our hands on this game for another 6 weeks when we originally thought we were going to be getting our hands on it. So, of course, that's frustrating, but no resentment, nor no anger towards EA or the dev team or Respawn or Stig or any of those guys. I just appreciate that they got out ahead. They gave us a month and a half notice. It wasn't March 1st, and they're like, hey guys, that game you're excited for in 2 weeks, by the way, now it's delayed another 6 weeks. They gave us plenty of time, plenty of notice of like, hey, we know now this game is not going to be ready, so we're just going to go ahead and tell you. So it's unfortunate, but life is life. I would rather them take the extra 6 weeks and make the best possible Star Wars and Cal story that they possibly can.
Yeah, I agree on that front. I think it's well known that in the game developing industry, crunch is a plague that a lot of game developers, unfortunately, are hit with far too often, and I'm hoping that at the very least this 6-week delay does mitigate some of that crunch for the developers over at Respawn. A lot of the time we jump on delays like this and are quick to criticize when we don't actually consider the lives of people. Like, these are developers here that are putting together quite a feat in software engineering, and I am just glad that they are giving themselves the appropriate time, hopefully, to release a solid product. We can't wait to get our hands on this game. Of course, guys, this is super disappointing. However, this sort of thing happens all the time especially recently in the gaming industry. So I again just want to reiterate that both Nick and I are just hoping for a super solid product at the end of the day. Of course, guys, let us know what you all think about this in the comments down below. Are you frustrated by the delay? Use the comment section as your safe space to say whatever you want and air your grievances about this delay. Again, super disappointing, but this sort of stuff unfortunately has to happen to release a quality product here. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for this one. Thank you all so much for watching, and as always, we will see you all next time.